Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to a new look for market analysis tools. Our panel today is Teresa Cooper and Angela Hamilton, both from the NEIC. After today's session, you should be able to identify new tools available to assist market conduct analysts, understand the functions of each of the new tools, and learn how to access and begin using the tools. Teresa.
Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Teresa Cooper. I'm the Senior Market Analysis Manager at the NAIC in the Market Regulation Department. And Angie Hamilton is here with me today, and she's the manager over the data team, market data team. And we are very excited to talk to you today about all of the new endeavors that we have for market analysis tools. There's just so much going on. It keeps us really busy. Angie and I are actively a part of our data team at the NAIC, working with the enterprise data platform. So I think today what we're going to talk through a couple of different things. We're going to talk through our CDS and RIARS data, or complaints and regulatory actions. We're going to talk through where we're at with those data sets, where you can access that data, and the reporting that's available for those data sets. And we're also going to talk through the market conduct annual statement data set and the things that you can access for that data set. So first, I'm just going to talk through generalizations on the tools that we have. So you all are probably familiar with iSight. iSight's where you go to pick a page to get your market analysis prioritization tool data sets. It's where you go to get several of your MCAS reports, your CDS and RIARS data. So going forward, we're going to continue to have iSight as it is today, but iSight is also an aging tool, and there is investigation going on into how to make improvements to the way that tool is used, and a way to have regulators easy access to the data sets that they need to do their analysis. So we've got that to look forward to. In the meantime, we have incorporated some of our Tableau dashboards into our iSight suite of tools, and we have some more on the market side that we're in the process of implementing. So I'm hoping in the next coming few weeks or maybe a month, I'll be able to send a note out to the market analysis chiefs saying, look here, we've got some new stuff for you, new Tableau dashboards for you. And, in saying that they're new may not be totally true, I guess, when I stop and think about that, what I'm saying. We've had these dashboards available, but we haven't had direct links to them in iSight. We've had a link that takes you to the Tableau server, and from there you can navigate out and look around and find what you need. But it just has been, I think, harder for the regulators to find what they need. So I'm wanting to have them more at your fingertips in places in iSight that you're used to finding tools. So we're working on getting some of those implemented out into iSight for you to have, and we'll look at some of those here after a while. We also have Snowflake and Snowsight. Our enterprise data platform is housed in a Snowflake database. This is an AWS database on the web, so it is easily accessible. Angie and I are finding it very fast to access. It's quicker to pull data from Snowflake than it is in Oracle, and we do it a lot. We have our fingers in Oracle and in Snowflake every day. So as a comparison, it is faster. We're enjoying the use of Snowflake. If you're an SQL user, you're going to like using the data in Snowflake. Snowsight is the GUI, the user interface that you would use to query that data. We're going to look at some of that today. We're going to look at examples of how to pull that data and what the data looks like. Angie and I have modeled the data for CDS and RIARS and MCAS into the Snowflake database it looks a little different than in Oracle. Some of the Oracle tables are awkward to join. For example, if you've worked with MCAS data at all and you've looked at health insurance, the health MCAS, you know that to get one filing you have to join 11 tables, or maybe it's 12. I think 12 if you count the interrogatories. You have to join 12 tables to get one filing of data. But in Snowflake, we've decreased that to 2 tables, an in-exchange table, an out-of-exchange table, and then there's an interrogatories table that's separate. So much easier to pull your data and see the information that you're wanting to see without having to dig and do lots of connections. Something else that we've done that I'm proud of in Snowflake, we've brought in the short company name, the group code, and the group name. So anytime you're querying the MCAS data, you'll automatically have those pieces of information when you get the data, instead of having to go out and do joins to other tables to get that information. So very exciting. Another slick thing we've done, we've brought in what we call the line number label. If you look out at the MCAS blanks, there's a listing of data elements or questions that are answered in each of the MCAS blanks. Those questions are the line number labels. So instead of just knowing that you're pulling line number 2, you'll actually know what the question is for line number 2. That will come in with the data without having to do a lot of extra joins to all these strange Oracle tables to get that information to pull in. So those are, I know it sounds small, but those are big things when you get ready to query the data. It's really a nice to have for those that use the data frequently. So now we are finally at the point that we are able to have the data in ThoughtSpot, MCAS data. CDS and RIARS is not quite there yet, but we're working on it, getting there. But the MCAS data is now in ThoughtSpot. Todd Sells and I have been doing a little bit of training for states. He's on the financial side, and I do the market side. And last week we went out to Missouri and did some training with them on ThoughtSpot, and it's really easy to use. It's a point and click type of tool. You don't have to know SQL to be able to use ThoughtSpot. You can simply bring down the list of tables and select the table you want, and then click on the fields you want to see and add some filtering to get the logic that you want for a specific company or a specific year, things like that. Oh, that's something else I didn't even mention a while ago. I'll go back to that. So ThoughtSpot is going to be really handy for those that aren't SQL users to be able to pull data. The slick thing about both Snowflake and ThoughtSpot, once you get the data set that you want, that you need, you click a button, it will download it into Excel for you. Once you get that data in Excel, you can do everything that you're used to doing in Excel. If you need to add columns or filter or sort or whatever it is, you can do that very easily. So the thing that I forgot to mention, let me go back to that. In addition to adding the company name, group code, group name, line number label, we have kind of appended our tables together for data years. So instead of having a separate table for the different lines of business for each year, we have one table with all years in it. So when you filter, you will filter on the data year or years that you're interested in. So you won't have to bring in multiple tables to get multiple years. You just use the one table that you're interested in, filter it on the year or years that you want. Now in ThoughtSpot, we are currently only bringing in a couple years of data. For ThoughtSpot, our licenses work a little different than for some software. Instead of having licenses per user, we are charged per row of data. So we are limiting our years of data that are available in there. If we find that regulators really need more years of data, we can talk about that and go back and assess and add more years if we need to. especially with MCAS, CDS, and RIARS, those are not as large of data sets as like the financial data set. So it would not be quite as costly as it might be for financial folks to add those. So we can reassess that and take a look if we find that that's needed for training purposes. So I do want this session to be somewhat interactive. If you do have something that's pressing on your mind that you have a question about, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get somebody to come over with a microphone for you and let you ask the question, and we'll do our best to answer. Or if there's something afterward that you would like to ask us about, feel free to do so as well. All of these tools that we're talking about are role-driven, as is the norm at the NAIC. So if you have interest in some of these tools after you hear about them and see some of the demonstration today, feel free to reach out to Angie and I, and we will be happy to talk with you about that as well. So I think I'm going to let Angie come now and talk to you about the CDS and RIARS data and how you can access some of that information. Put the mouse over here if you need to.
Oh, okay. For anybody that knows me, they probably know I don't need this thing, but I'll use it anyway. CDS and RIARS data has evolved significantly over the years. I know when I started at the NAIC 25 years ago, yes, I was a toddler, I started out as the RIARS coordinator. I was doing data entry. We were entering it into a homegrown application that existed at the NAIC. The analysis or the validation that was done on that data was based upon how I entered it. So boy, no pressure, right? So the systems have evolved over the years, and we've made changes to the layouts and the process and things like that. But what we really haven't done is change the way that we have provided that data to you. So now we're wanting to kind of make things much easier, not just eyesight reports where you have to specifically go in and look for certain records. This is actually going to be the first time that complaints and RIARS data is made available for you guys to query, access directly into the data tables that you guys could look in that information, spin it, group by, evaluate, do your real analysis on that information by having direct access to the system. That, just like Teresa had mentioned in Snowflake and Snowsight. And I'd be happy to actually even demonstrate some of those things for you guys if you guys want to see that. Also, like Teresa said, we're not quite in ThoughtSpot yet, but we are anticipating doing that in fourth quarter was our goal. So if that is made available in ThoughtSpot, again, that is one more thing that's going to make things so much easier for you guys to be able to utilize that data, not just through reports, but also have that accessibility to query large amounts of data, to trend certain types of data, and to really get in and look at the different kind of information that is available to you for the complaints and enforcement actions. Also, something else that is exciting that's going on, and for those that were previously involved with the RIARS SME group, was that we have made some adjustments to the RIARS data to capture additional data elements that may make that RIARS data more valuable, or something that you can do additional analysis on. So we have incorporated a record type, so the type of enforcement action that is truly taking place. So whether or not it's like an administrative action or something to that effect, it's going to give you that information. Also, line of business. How often do we look at things and want to be able to see the lineage from the entity existing over in financial to looking at the market conduct annual statement, then evaluating complaints and enforcement actions against that particular entity? This would give you that opportunity to kind of create that additional lineage and be able to review an entity as a whole for all of the market analysis purposes. Let's see.
Anything else?
I know I talk fast and I talk loud. But we'd be happy to go through each and every one of the things that we have available to you. Like I said, we've got eyesight reports. We do have some dashboards for complaints and regulatory actions. Those exist in eyesight currently. I believe we had demoed those a couple of years ago, but we're wanting to evolve those as well. Currently, those are only for risk-bearing entities. We want to expand that for individuals and for agency data so that you can do additional analysis on those record types as well. Let's see. Sure, yeah. Sorry, I don't have your face.
Yeah. My laptop, so I've got to unlock it. Okay, that's no side if you want to.
Cool. Okay. How many of you guys are familiar with eyesight? Awesome. How many of you guys use CDS and RIARS data in eyesight? Fabulous. I like that. Okay. Would you like to be able to see it in a different way? Yes. Okay. Awesome. So this is a new method for us to be able to kind of give you that information, for you to be able to access that information via SnowSight. So we're just logged in here. Each state can be provisioned in order to gain access to this same information that I'm going to look at. Previously, like RIARS data, we had to make joins to 7 or 8 tables in order to extract RIARS data for an entity. Now, instead, it's in one table. It's all decoded. You don't have to figure out what record type 1 is anymore or anything like that. It's all decoded. You know that 1 equals whatever, and that it's all laid out for you so that you can access that information, whether it be for individual, whether it be for company, or whether it be for agency data. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pop into the NAIC ad hoc schema. Each of you would have the ability to access the same information, just as if you were me. Oh, that's helpful. All right. So under the ad hoc, I'm in the wrong schema. So under the NAIC prod market, we have an ad hoc schema, of which it includes a number of different tables. So you can see a number of different data elements that, that you would have access to. So if you have a role to access MCAS, complaints, and regulatory actions, you would see all the tables, which is really cool, because if you want to do joins from one to another, you can, which is awesome, because sometimes we just want to know all the stuff all at once. But along with that, so I'm going to go down to, say, here's CDS Company. CDS Company is all of the complaints data associated to risk-bearing entities. So here it's going to include co-code, short insurer name, group code, all of the stuff that you guys didn't have maybe available in a one-stop shop location is all here. We have the NPN, so that's always nice to have to go along with that information, as well as some of the other identifying information. So whomever submitted it, because you're not always looking at just complaints for your own state. Maybe you're trending across all states and trying to see what's going on with a particular record or a particular entity. Along with that, we've got other data elements that are all pertinent to a complaint information. And I can write a query for you if you'd like. That way you can see exactly what this looks like. All right. So if I were interested in, let's see, and I will apologize if I typo, because that just happens. CDS Company, where code is equal to, and we love to pick on Aetna just because. Oh, we don't have a warehouse selected. So just like that, I pulled all of the complaints data that we have in our database for Aetna. I can adjust this so you can see this a little bit better, but let's see. All kinds of stuff. So your information, the insured age group, when it was open, when it was closed, all of the, why is it, there we go. Your complaint closed year. So you could taper this stuff down. This has got 10 years worth of data that just came back for Aetna. So if you were only interested in, say, the past 3 years, you can limit that. If you want to look at counts of certain types of complaints, you can do that as well. I've compiled a user guide for this type of stuff that has some example queries and things like that, just to get you started in the case that you don't really know where to begin, and then getting familiar with the different data tables that are available to you. We have the same kind of structure for the other entity types. So we've got CDS firm, which those are your agency records, and then individuals, so your producers, your adjusters, et cetera. We also have that same type of structure for enforcement records. So we can go down here, again, Ryers Company, Ryers Firm, Ryers Individual. So you have the ability to kind of access that information very much the same way. If you wanted to look at it by entity, or if you want to look at it as a whole, you have the ability to do that. If you wanted to do a select all from Ryers Company, you have the ability to do that. Might take 10 more seconds, but it'll come back and you'll get all of the data. Questions? Yes.
I'm going to show you in just a few minutes.
This is Snowflake, yes. You just need the role. Yep, this is all cloud-based, so all you have to do is log into a URL, which is state-specific, so we would grant you access based upon your state, and then you would have the ability to access this information.
If their state doesn't have a reader account yet, we would have to set that up.
That's true, that's true. Yes, we would, if your state doesn't have a reader account, we would have to get that set up for you, but outside of that, yeah, it's pretty quick to get you guys taken care of. Yes?
You said you have a user guide. Where can we find it?
I can send it to you. Awesome. Questions? Anybody want to see anything else? Just shoot us an email. Or amhamilton@naic.org. That's me. Any other questions? I guess you guys want to see MCAS now. I'm sorry? I will show you. It is right here. See this super cool arrow? And you can download it as a CSV or a CSV for Excel. Sure. Ta-da. And just like that, it's downloading. And then it'll pop up right here and tell me that I can grab it. Any other questions? All right. I think y'all want to know about MCAS too, right? All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, since she's got us in Snowflake already, we'll look at some of our MCAS stuff. So you'll see over here we have MCAS tables right alongside with our CDS and Ryers, like Angie was saying. So let's just pick a line of business. Are there SQL users in here? Do we have SQL users? Couple, okay. It does kind of help you out a little bit as you go along, and Angie and I both are just doing our select star, so we're selecting everything. But if you go in a cheat that I have, now Angie, she knew all of her stuff and she typed it all in there. I am not necessarily all that great with stuff. So let's say I want to look at MCAS homeowners ratio information. So I go down here and I find my MCAS home claims, or no, MCAS home ratio ranks table. For each line of business, there's a ratio ranks table. This is the calculated data. The tables that do not have ratio and ranks at the end are the data tables, the submitted data. So there are two different types of data you'll find here for MCAS. For the ratio and ranks, the calculated data, we're going to go pull a query for this one. I can go over here to these three dots and click on it, and it says place name in editor. So if I click that, it puts it over here for me, and I don't have to type all of that, and I'm all about that. So I'm going to say where data year equals 2023, and I'm going to say where we're, instead of state or stabber, like you're used to seeing in Oracle, we call this a reported jurisdiction. Actually, I said that wrong. In our ratio ranks table, it's just a jurisdiction. And we're in Missouri, so we'll pick on Missouri. And I am going to run that. Oops. Why doesn't it like? Oh, I forgot this keyword from. That's what happens when you're in front of people, right? So just like that, I brought back over 5,000 rows of data. That was fast. So now you'll see it gives me my co-code, my company name, my group code, my group name, my line numbers, and my line number labels, which is my information. It tells me what type of information I'm looking at. Let's say that I want to only look at ratio 3. So I see here ratio 3, and it is on line code 11. So I'm going to go in here and say, and MCAS line code equals 11. And it brought back that information. Now I only have 119 records. And just like Angie showed you, I can go right here. I can download those 119 records as a CSV for Excel. Right there it is. This one. And it's going to open it up in Excel for me so that I can do anything I want to with it. I can go in and I can sort and I can filter and I can do anything I want to with it. When you see these -5 that means that that value was not calculable. It means it had to divide by 0. So if you do see that type of information and have questions about it, you can always give us a shout. I only brought back the lines that have the actual ratio calculated value. You can bring in the numerator, the denominator, additional information about the ratio itself. I've been kind of encouraging folks to use all of our different tools as like a suite of tools. So, for example, we have our Tableau dashboards. How many of you have used some of our Tableau dashboards with MCAS? Several of you, okay. I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you one. Oops, that's not what I wanted. That's all right, let me go. I'm going to sign into the Tableau server. Okay, this brought up a pick a page. That's not really the one I wanted to go to, so let's look at our baseline analysis. This is disability income. Let's go back a little bit. I want to find, since we were talking about homeowners, let's go to homeowners. Now, instead of you guys having to do this out here in the server, I am working on getting this so that you have the point and click to the direct dashboard in iSight. So you won't have to fumble through these like this, exactly. So, we were looking at ratio 3, so we'll just pick ratio 3 again. And let's go, we were looking at Missouri, so maybe we'll go to Missouri again. And we'll look at data year. Yeah, this is showing us 5 years, so we'll just go ahead and leave that. And we'll go down here and we'll look, and we get a scatter plot that shows the bigger dots mean bigger numbers. It shows us those that are like outside the norm, like we see this one up here. But if you look, it was 100%, but it only had one claim. So it wasn't really, maybe it's skewed. If you have little bitty numbers like that, it kind of skews it. But this is kind of my vision. And maybe, you know, regulators, as you go through and you use the data and use the tools, you may come up with better ideas than I have. In my mind, I see using this type of tool to poke around, you know, hover, identify things that I think I need to look at. Then I see going to Snowflake or ThoughtSpot, downloading a set of data into Excel and having my set of data on another screen. Because at home when I'm working, I have multiple screens of stuff going on. I don't know about you, but I assume you probably do the same thing. So have my Excel sheet on one screen, have my Tableau dashboard on a screen, and I can go back and forth and look at my data that I have for this particular ratio and highlight things and bold things and add a column for notes and whatever, so that I can, at the end of my analysis, go through and see the companies that I may have concern with that I want to do some more work on. Maybe go in and do a Mars level 1 or 2. And look at a little bit more seriously. And I see it as a suite of tools. Tableau alone is cool to be able to see the visualization, but it doesn't necessarily give you the place to make your notes and be able to finish your analysis. Okay, we've talked about Tableau a little bit. We've talked about Snowflake, and I want to show you a little bit of ThoughtSpot. And on the market side, Missouri is the only state that we've so far introduced to ThoughtSpot. We only have, on the market side, we only have MCAS data available in ThoughtSpot. Financial data is available in ThoughtSpot. CDS and RIARS is not yet, but it's coming. And it is also a web-based tool. Once you get access to it and you want to find some data, you will go over here, you will hit the search data button. You will go in here and you will look for MCAS. Oops, let's see here. And let's see, this one, I need to click my down thing. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It does take a minute to load all of the tables in here because it has financial as well. And there's a lot of those. So it does take a minute to load the data listing of data tables. But once you get them brought up, then you're good to go. But ThoughtSpot, you don't have to write code. No SQL, no select star from. You just go in here and you find your source. Okay, we're going to look at homeowners data, since that's what we've been doing. Instead of going to the ratio ranks, we'll go and maybe pull some claims data. And I'm gonna hit select. Now it's bringing in all of my columns of information and thinking about it here for just a minute. And I typed this up here and I don't want that there. That does not belong there. That was a mistake. It was a whoopsie. Okay, now I have all of my columns of data. I have up here, I have what they call measures. Down here, I have what you call attributes. These are the things that you're most likely going to filter on. The ones at the top that are measures are things that you can calculate on. They're the reported values that you can do calculations or work on. So here I'm going to do a little bit of filtering, and I'm going to select things. I know I want to see my company code, and I'm only going to pull 2023 data, so I don't necessarily have to see the data year, but I'm going to filter it. And I'm going to filter so that I am including only 2023. I'm going to hit apply. Now, if I hit code in 2020, and it has 2023 there, if I say go, it's going to bring me a listing of codes. That's all I'm going to get right now. So now I figure I want to see my short insurer name, and it will put things up here in the order that you click on them. I also want to see my line number label. I think that's the right one. Oops, wrong one. Line number label, that's my description. I want to see, let's go ahead and put my line number anyway. Let's put that. And then let's go up here to the data, and I want to see, I'm going to focus on dwelling data, and I'm going to look at some liability. That's all I'm going to look at right now. I'm going to hit go. Okay, it's going to bring me a whole bunch of rows of stuff. A lot of information. I have not filtered on estate, so I've got a lot of rows. So let's go in and let's filter on estate real quick. My reported jurisdiction. I'm going to filter and include, this time we'll look at, let's just do Kansas. I'm going to say apply. Now you'll notice that my screen is a little bit gray here. It's because I've done something and I haven't hit go. Let's hit go. And now I've filtered down to just my Kansas information for 2023 for homeowners and the columns that I've asked for. Now, maybe I want to just look at lawsuits information. So maybe I only want to look at MCAS line number 56. So let's go over here and let's filter on that. My line number, I'm going to filter, and I'm just going to include line number 56. Apply. But again, it's grayed out, so I hit go. Now I only have 111 rows. I've brought in all of my filers for 2023 homeowners for Kansas, line number 56, dwelling and liability data. Lawsuits open during the period. That quickly, I can bring in this information. Now, it is also easy to save, share. That's something we didn't talk about with Snowflake. With Snowflake, if someone in your team is an SQL user, they write some code, you also have an access to Snowflake. They can share that code with you, and then you can run their code. So that's slick. ThoughtSpot works the same way. You can share things that you've written. These queries in ThoughtSpot are called answers. You can write a series of queries or answers, and you can pin them all to what they call a live board. So if there are maybe 5 queries that you run that it's something that you commonly do, you run them all for your homeowners analysis, let's say. You can pin them all to your homeowners live board. When you go to your homeowners live board, you have all of those query results right there, ready. It's really pretty slick, and it's really easy. Todd Sells has done a lot more of this than I have on the financial side because his data has been available a lot longer. MCAS has just now started to be available, so I fumble through a little bit. I have not played in this nearly as much as Todd, but I can still go in and get what I need to get. It's just not very hard. So we're really excited that this is going to be a tool that we can share with you all regulators and that you will be able to enjoy using. Okay, from this point, are there questions? Yes, ma'am. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We do, we are moving some of our more tabular reports that we have in iSight today. We are moving away from a little bit toward some of the Tableau types of views of things. And we haven't gotten far enough as to say, we'll just replace everything with ThoughtSpot or anything like that. And the only reason that really we move away from some of those more tabular reports is because they require maintenance every year. And we want to be able to provide new things to the regulators for use, but when our IT resources are busy doing maintenance, we don't have that flexibility as much. But any of our Snowflake types of queries, our ThoughtSpot types of answers, if you find things that you want, that you may not see a report in iSight that gives you what you want. With these, you can get what you want. And if you don't know how to do it, we probably do. And so we could do it, help you out with that and send you some samples of things that you can use. And as Angie talked about, she's got documentation for CDS and RIARS. I've also got some documentation for MCAS that helps along with the way the data is laid out in Snowflake. ThoughtSpot uses the Snowflake data. It's the same data. It is the Snowflake data. So there's not two different sets of data table layouts to learn. It's the same stuff. So we do have documentation for MCAS as well. But did that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Yes. We will be offering trainings. And if your state is interested in some training, reach out to us. Angie gave her email address. Mine is tcooper@naic.org. Reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to talk with you and figure out what would work for you to get some training, to get you the proper roles to access the data. We're excited to get this rolled out, get it moving. Other questions? Something else you would like to see? Yes, sir.
Right now, I think Missouri, thank you. You mentioned that right now, Missouri, I think, was the only state that had been rolled into ThoughtSpot.
Yes.
Is it available for other states if they reach out and want it, or are you doing a purposeful slow roll?
They were kind of our first one, just because we just literally have just gotten it available. And so literally last week I went to Jefferson City. So we are really kind of cutting edge with the ThoughtSpot stuff for MCAS. So we are now ready to start rolling it to other states. So if you do have interest, let us know, and we'll be glad to get you going. And like we were talking earlier, we have several states, many states that have reader accounts for financial. Some have CDS and RIARS and MCAS data already shared with their accounts. Some do not. Some, when we did the rollouts of these, did not have data users that were actively using the data, so we didn't create those. But if you are a data user, you want to use the data, then you just need to let us know so that we can get that set up for you, get the roles assigned, get the reader accounts all squared away, and you'll be good to go.
And also, just, don't let it overwhelm you. If there's a query or something that we can create for you so that you have access to those data sets, but maybe it's a little scary to initially get in there and write that stuff yourself, reach out to us, because we will happily provide you with a suite of queries that you then could tweak and modify in order to accommodate whatever your needs are. And if there's data that maybe we haven't gotten into Snowflake yet and you want it, let us know. Because a lot of times we may have it available, but we haven't quite shared it into an area where the regulators have access to it.
Yeah. And when we do the training for ThoughtSpot, it's very hands-on. When we went to Missouri, we were in a conference room, everybody had their laptop and worked along with us so that, we're all doing the stuff together. I see some of the Missouri folks sitting back here. If you have questions about, if it is good, what they think, maybe they might be happy to talk to you, maybe. So, yeah, Yes, Mary Kay. Mhm.
But there is some concern for analysis that there's only 2 years of information. What would it take for,
Actually, when I did this, I think for financial, there's 2, but I think for MCAS, I think that there were 5. Because when I looked at this and filtered a while ago, I think the data years, I think there were 5. Let's see here, because I think, let's see. I know I did this a while ago and it showed several of them, so I think I just need to, I have to take it out here. I have to take it out right here. Hang on. See, that's what I'm telling you. I have not done this that much either, so, oops, I didn't hit go. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah, it still doesn't, but I know it did. I know it showed me a while ago when there were 5 years. Todd's sitting watching this now saying, Teresa.
I'm done.
All right. Other questions? But yes, Mary Kay, even, if we didn't have the 5 years of data here, that's the type of thing that we can do. And Snowflake, that's the cool part of the platform being in Snowflake. And we've already done it internally. We modeled the data, we started using it, and we were like, I don't like it. I want it to look different. I need something different. And so we went back and we made changes. And, with Oracle, we're not able to do that. But with Snowflake, we can. We have wide tables, we have skinny tables, we have all different types of formats depending on the tool that you want to use and how you want to consume the data. All right. If there are no other questions, then we'll finish up. But feel free to come up and talk to Angie and I if you have questions or would like to kind of get on a list to get things going, and we'll be happy to work with you. Thank you.